saying things like, your brother learned to tie his shoes when he was your age. That doesn't do any good. It's not motivating a child. In fact, that builds resentment.
Sherri, I know that as parents, and I've done this myself, sometimes we can unknowingly cause rivalry with our kids. And I never try to do that, but sometimes it just happens. I don't know how, why does that happen? How can we keep that from happening? And how do we as parents sometimes cause rivalry with our kids?
Yeah. It's as we're parenting, as we're leading them, as we're guiding them, it's frustrating. It's hard. Comparison, I think, is one of the biggies. The frustration. Yeah. Be on guard when you talk to ask the Lord to give you words, because our words can be so, they can lift up or they can tear down. And saying things like, your brother learned to tie his shoes when he was your age. That doesn't do any good. It's not motivating a child. In fact, that builds resentment. Why can't you be still like your sister? Those will build, our desire is to say, look, she's able to do it. You should be able to do it too. I get that. But by saying it that way, we're saying she's better. And they're hearing, right? She is better than you. He is better than you. And that builds resentment and distance. That doesn't build togetherness. So really, really try. We know kids develop at a different pace than each other. They have different strengths than each other. They're going to develop differently. And that's one of the reasons why homeschooling is so amazing, because we can meet their needs as they mature and, the whole academic needs. And when they're ready, they don't have to read exactly when they're 5 years old. It can be done whenever they're ready. And this because they're developmentally unique. And the same thing with our children. You may have one that ties a shoe at 3 and one that ties a shoe at 8. That's okay. That doesn't make one better than another or better behave. Some kids can't control themselves and they're constantly bouncing. And, we used to do our math facts, jumping jacks and running around and bouncing balls because my boys were constantly moving and they were paying attention, but they couldn't sit like a girl can sit necessarily. And again, I'm stereotyping here, but as a rule, the girls tend to be more prepared for the fine motor skills. They can be, they can sit. My daughter, we would have the olders help the younger ones during school. And so my olders would take care of, during a subject with the, with some of my other kids, my olders would take my daughter and do something with her. And they're like, Mom, she wants to play school. Like, how in the world? Because she's supposed to have playtime and she literally wants to play school. She wants me to write spelling words for her. I'm like, well, she's wired that way, that she thrives that way. And she's ready for it at this age. Not all of us are ready for it at that age. And so it's the same idea. And then also we get duplicates, a lot of things, so that they don't have to share. Sometimes that's okay. But, if you're buying an iPad for each of your 6 kids, I would encourage you to question yourself. Maybe they need it for academics and that's different. But if you're doing it because you want them to be able to play on their own separately and not have to share, that's actually doing them a disservice. We want them to learn how to live together in similar spaces because they are going to be doing that with a spouse. And they're going to be working together in similar spaces with coworkers. Even if they're virtually working, there will, like you said, other people are going to be in their lives and they need to work with other people. So trying not to get lots of duplicates because you want the peace. And then not guiding them through the process of bickering. There will be conflict. There will be conflict. But you need to give your children proper tools to deal with, which we'll talk about. Screaming is not going to solve anything, and nor will always calling for mom and dad solve things. We want to give them the words, the tools, and the abilities to work through conflict. If we're not teaching them how to do that, they're just going to scream every time, or they're going to hit, or they're going to tear or break or whatever because they don't know what else to do and they're frustrated. So those are some things that I would think we need to be mindful of so that we don't make a situation worse.
Yeah, those are great reminders. And it is hard as a parent sometimes. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.